Hello, my name is Shadow Templar 591, and I'm doing something a little new. Like a lot of people, I got into the For Honor closed beta. I say closed beta in quotes because it is really neither closed nor beta. The reason I say that is because a bunch of people got in. You can make videos about it. There's no NDA, and the game comes out in 2 weeks. So this is more a promotional beta is what they really should call it. But I digress. So if you've been living on a rock and don't know what For Honor is, I'm gonna go over it. This is gonna be new in terms of me doing betas. I'm gonna try to expand the channel to that. I did try to get into the Gwent beta a while back, and even before I was doing this channel, I did try to get into the StarCraft 2 beta, but that's neither here nor there. You care about the For Honor beta. So this is going to be a more structured video than most of my other videos. So I'm going to give you first an overview, then we're going to go into the mechanics of what you can do in this screen, and then I'm going to go into the mechanics of an actual game. Now, when I'm doing a game, that's actually just going to be post commentary, just because and you'll see why it's just easier to do it that way, for this game especially. So first, the overview. For Honor is, as far as we know, it's going to be a $60 game just for the base game. There's going to be a season pass because, of course, there is. Basically, you get 3 factions. So you have Vikings, you have Samurais, and you have Knights. And I should show you that. So heroes. So these are the Knights up here. So you have your Warden, your Conqueror, and your Peacemaker. The Vikings have the Raider, the Warlord, the Berserker, and then the Samurai have the Kenshi, the Nobushi. I'm probably butchering that. I apologize. And the Orokchi. I'm probably butchering that as well. But I digress once again. I'll go into now talking about the factions and the actual game mechanics. So basically, the first one, when you first start up the game, you only have these first three unlocked. You get the rest of these by getting what's called steel. You can get steel by either finding loot, which you get at the end of missions, or you get a whole bunch by just completing the 2 tutorials. So there are, as I mentioned, 2 tutorials. So let me see. So, how to play. And so I believe there's tutorials. These 2 videos. I think once you beat them, they disappear. Nope, okay. Practice is the same thing. Yep, and then it shows the tutorials. So once you complete those 2, it tells you a bunch of the mechanics of For Honor, and you get a bunch of steel, and basically you get more than enough to just buy them. By the other, 6 other characters. And then there's also so if you're not sure of what the game modes do, I'll go more into those, but there's even videos for that, and the different heroes too. So each hero has a basic video and an advanced video, as you can see. So, Peacemaker, Warden, so on and so forth. Okay. And then you can see you can do different matches. And in the store, we don't know how this is going to look. It looks like this because of the beta. Social. So, if you want to get a group together, you can see your profile, your faction. You can change your faction. I don't know what champion status does. Ah, that makes sense. Okay. This makes sense. Okay. Yep. So this is basically just a way of, and you get it by steel. So basically, at least for right now, and this is going to be probably going to change because it's a $60 AAA game, and B, it's a Ubisoft game, so that storefront is going to probably look different. I hope it doesn't, in the sense that I hope it's not going to be like just full of just DLC and stuff that you have to pay to buy. But I digress. So that's the heroes. Actually, I didn't actually show any of the abilities. So I'll go into my warden because I have the most with the warden. So we'll go into kind of customization. Another way you can get your heroes and the progression of each hero and what the levels mean. So levels basically you get from playing matches, whether that be 4v4, 2v2, or 1v1. You can customize your character, and basically what that means is at the end of every match, like I talked about, you get student loot that affects your status. Now right now there's only so much loot. The one good thing they did is you could get 2 pieces of loot, and I don't know if I have to. Yep. So I can get, these two are technically the same piece of loot, but they have different stats. So that makes it very Diablo-esque in that sense. So that's how that works. And then you can even, if you don't like how that looks, you can actually change the look of it. Not only your handle for your weapon, but your blade, your helmet, your chest piece. Doing that does cost steel, but since it's a way of balancing out the people who say, well, I like how this looks, but I don't like the stats, and vice versa. People who say, I like the stats, but I don't like how it looks. You kind of get a nice common ground between those two people. I think it's a very novel and interesting way of doing it. And it's not a lot of steel. You can get, it's usually like about 150 steel, which you can get very easily. Another thing here is you can also, as you level up, you get new abilities. So how the levels work is you level up a particular character. So that's why if you saw, I have the Warden here at level 11, and then the Conqueror at level 5, but everyone's all at level 1. I haven't played the other guys. I've been mostly focusing on Knights just because I figured everyone else is going to do Vikings and Samurai, so I'm going to be a little different. That's just me. And you can actually see from the very get-go, what abilities a character has and when you have to get them. So you see at reputation at level 17, I'll get Stalwart Banner. The reason I like this is it gives you enough information. You're not playing with a character and then you like the character, but you're like, man, these abilities stink. So, very nice. I hope they keep that. You can customize your executions. So when you kill people, you get little executions you can do. Now those can get interrupted if you're doing like a 2v2 or 4v4. You can also, as you can see, you can spend steel to get different executions. Same with emotes. So there's emotes. So most of the stuff you would expect in a normal game. Another thing I really like is I did do customize, let's see, appearance. You can customize just about everything in this game. So you can customize gender, skin color, outfits, which are kind of like skins in this. I don't think there's these ones for reputation, but they'll probably be tiered, so the higher they are, the more dramatic the skin is, the more it's just like from a simple color swap to a kind of some visual changes to a whole bunch of them. You can change if you want a design on your helmet, you can change it. You unlock those too by leveling up by reputation. You can add ornaments. Those do cost steel. You can, let's see here, what else can you do? You can add engravings, you can add symbols, which you get the symbols by leveling up with the characters. You can actually change the colors of your little, I don't want to call it skirt, but I don't know what it's called. I'm going to call it a skirt. I mean, if there's something you can change, you can do it. So, that's really like, that's one of the things that really got me into this game. Is just really, to be honest, with the game mechanics, but all this other stuff is really bringing it together for me. I really think this is going to be a really nice, fun game. And then that's the same with each character. So how each character, which each faction goes, they kind of have, and I should have said this from the top. So if you're a fighting connoisseur, you might get this, especially if you play Mortal Kombat. I think it's 10 started this. They might have started further, but this is the one that I know has it. So you'll have certain characters in Mortal Kombat, like say, I think it's John Cage or Nathan Cage, I don't know. Someone named Cage in that game. So he might have, his base, like, style he might be a grappler. But you can unlock, say, other styles that maybe are more toward doing a special move, or you may get another one that's more about like just kind of blocking the person, your enemy in. Well, that's kind of how the different characters work in For Honor. So knights basically are balanced. They're not really fully attack, they're not fully defense. But between the different ones, you have a little slider that makes it go slightly to the right or slightly to the left in terms of if attack is on one side and defense on the other. So, in terms of damage, and I'll get more into that when we go into game mechanics. So he's literally in the middle. The Vanguard is straight middle. He's not really good at attack or defense. While the Conqueror is more towards attack. He's a little on the attacking side, while the Peacemaker is a little more on the defensive side because he's more fragile, he's more agile, but his damage don't do as much, his attacks don't do as much damage as say the Conqueror or the Warden. And that's how that goes. And then basically the Vikings are more about doing a lot of damage, really slow attacks, but their attacks do a lot more damage and kind of getting in close. While the Samurai, as you may have guessed, are more about, keeping your enemies at lengths, doing damage, but more like poking at the enemy, not letting them get close, keeping them at like arm's length. And all their weapons are like that. The Nobishe. Now I'm just butchering this as well. I think has the longest weapon so far in the game. So I think that's it about the characters. Oh, and then you can also get the how to fight videos here as well. You can view your progression, so it'll actually let you know, hey, at what levels do I unlock stuff. I don't know how you do reputation right now. I don't know if that's just a mechanic they're gonna add later, but right now I don't know. And then this is another way you can get gear. And your gear is literally specific not only to your class, to like your, I guess, I don't know, race. I don't know if that's the right term, but so if I can break down night gear, but then I can't use that material to then make a Viking gear. I can make it another night gear, upgrade another night gear, but I can't make another Viking gear with it. So they're all kind of locked. And then even there's certain gear for each class. So there's only the certain gear for the Warden, there's certain gear for the Conqueror, the Peacemaker, so on and so forth. And this is just another way, if you have steel and you don't want to buy any of the cosmetics or anything, you just want gear, this is another way of getting it. Personally, I would just say don't get any of the lower ones, personally. Just go for the big premium pack. That's my personal take on that. Oh, and you also can, at the beginning of the game, and I didn't mention this, you can also customize your little emblem at the top, your little icon. So I believe that's about it. I mean, controls. The one thing I don't like is, and I wonder if this game. So I'll go talking about the controls now. So this game doesn't let you change the controls. I hope that's just a beta thing. I hope they eventually do let you. And just with the way the mechanics work, I wonder if this game wouldn't be better with a controller. So when it finally goes out, I did order a controller before. It didn't get here yet, so I'm going to try it with a controller when it comes out. And I'm just curious if it's going to be better. And then you can change the language. They've got a lot of different languages. For voices, more so for the menu, obviously. Display is kind of what you would expect. Graphics. I can't run this on high because I desync. But I don't know if that's because it's a beta, or if it's because it's a Ubisoft game, or to be honest, it's probably a little both. So, and at the very end of this, I'll go into my pros and cons about everything, and then just kind of give my overall feedback. But that's really about, at least for the overall world mechanics. Now, this is the last actual thing I misspoke. So as you saw, you can choose a faction. I chose Knight. And at the end of the day, every time you play a match, you can put what's called war materials to a section on the map that your faction is fighting over. At the end of the day, the faction that controls, or at the end of the time period, I should say. I don't know if it's going to be day or how they're going to do it. The faction with, say, I think the most territories, which you can see up here, is going to get a special reward for that. What that is, I don't think they said. I think it's just like crates and stuff that you can get gear and things like that. So nothing too game breaking where it's like you have to change to the faction that's winning. I do wonder though, especially if one side is losing really bad and one side is winning, if they're going to have a mechanic to kind of balance that out, because I could see a lot of people just searching their faction to say the samurai or the Viking or the knight, if they're winning, and saying, hey, I'll just play as them for now, I'll get good as them, especially if they're good at a couple different factions and classes within those factions, of just kind of switching around. So I hope there's a pretty good deterrent. I don't know if the one that we saw before is going to be a good enough deterrent. So we'll see when it finally comes out at full. So with that being said, and as you can see, there's also they're called contract orders. Basically, they're kind of like achievements, but basically you get special things for doing little extra things in the game. So you get more XP, you get more steel, certain things like that. There's an overall community reward that you can see. That's what the event order is about. There's individual ones, and then there's ones against, and then there's kind of, as you can see, daily ones. All kind of speaks for yourself. As you probably can guess by the daily ones, you can play against both AI and humans. I mostly played as humans. I have played against some AI that have been put in the game. The game does put AI games in if someone drops out, so you don't automatically desync from the game. You do, for that reason at least, there has been some desyncs, but once again, don't know if that's a Ubisoft thing, that's a beta thing, or that's a little of both. Anyways, the next time you're gonna see me, we're gonna be in the game, I'm gonna do some post commentary, then I'll wrap my final thoughts up, and then I will see you guys next time. Okay guys, we're back. So as you can see, we're doing a 4v4 domination. we can let me try that again. Can do it against players or allies, players or AI. So we're searching. I don't know if you can change those options, like the region, game mode, language, player skill. I don't know if that's stuff you can change. This is the map, and then I'm just changing, just checking out my stats. Picking my guy, Conqueror. So you'll either be orange or blue depending if you're attacking or defending. And really that has to do with that map I showed you before, of the different factions and the territory gains. Though I don't know what necessarily determines whether you're on the attacking side or whether you're on the defending side. And we're just waiting for the game to load up. You can just, as a lot of games do nowadays, they have little and just reading some of the little things they let you know, tidbits and stuff. The way you might saw one for, I think, Renown. Yep, here we go. Renown. So basically, Renown is how you get to use your abilities. They actually don't all become active at the beginning of the game. Oh, and this is just a preview of the map and gives you a breakdown of everything that's going on. You can pause it and read it. It also gives you a description of the game mode as I'm waiting for the game to start. And you always get a little cutscene like this, depending on, it'll be different if you're the defenders or attackers. And here we go. So first thing off, there's three points you're trying to take: A, B, and C. A and C are either close to the attackers or defenders, depending on what side you're on. And then B's in middle position. That's actually kind of has a creep wave, is the best way I can put it, and you gain control of it by pushing out your creep wave. So here, I'm just trying to stall them. The reason being is if an area is under contest, they don't get points from it. Of course, I didn't see the third guy come in here, and I get just dropped. I just got leveled. So I can stay dead, as you can see, and if allies are nearby, I can be revived. But I decided, since I don't see any of my allies around, I'm gonna just revive normally back at the spawn point. This is a very heavily drawn team game, and you'll see what, if you can't notice it right now, I'll show you what I mean shortly on. Not only by the revive mechanics, but you always want to be aware. And I just got, do I kill this guy? No, I don't. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to break it. So in those little areas, you can actually push guys off the ledges and kill them, and that's what I was trying to do there. I was unsuccessful and took a lot of damage from it. So, and now what I'm just trying to do, he's chasing me back to the spawn point. I'm just trying to stay alive till one of my allies come and can help me. Now, even at this health, I could take him on, but I don't, if I was a better skill player, I just know that I'm not, and I'm not going to be able to take him on, so I wait. I did eventually engage him because I saw it. One of my allies had spawned, they had not, and I tried to break his guy, but he went and attacked, so that doesn't do anything. Gladly enough, one of my allies shortly later did spawn, so I did get revived. I come here, try to take zone C. It's like, nope, there's two of them. I would say, you can do a 1v2. It's pretty hard, but you can do it. But like, once it goes to 1v3 or 4, it's almost impossible to win. So, as you probably noticed, when you capture points, you get 100 points, and when you lose it, you lose 100 points, and then your team gets, for having that area, gets so many points as well. So I try to catch him off guard. I'm once again, trying to knock him off the edge. I don't know what that move she did was. I eventually just take my mace to it, do an execution. Now when you do an execution, you gain health, as you saw. And now so there's two ways you get renown, and I should have said this. One is killing guys, another is going to one of your spots, like A or C, and actually healing up. If you go to spot B, which is kind of the creep wave spot, you don't actually heal up that way. So I see him, just run him off. Come here, help my allies. Now, as you probably saw, the screen went gray, and what that basically means is I'm out of stamina. So there's a stamina meter as well. I think it's the green meter, and basically what'll happen is if that goes to, every time I attack, I use stamina. Every time I roll, I use stamina. And then, okay, right there I tried to push him off, but one of my peacemakers took theirs out. So I'm going up here, trying to hold off the area, help my peacemaker. But for some reason, I didn't do any damage. To be honest, in hindsight, I probably should have just healed our guy, because our peacemaker gets killed, and then I think some more of their guys come. Nope, I just get leveled. I get demolished, that's what happened. Yep. So as you can see, I'm trying to do heavy attacks, but they're doing light attacks, so I need to time my attacks right, even if I'm going to do a heavy attack, or I'm going to keep getting interrupted. So not only with the stamina meter do you not want to mash your attacks, either your heavy or small light attacks, because of the enemies actually, and actually your allies. Because if you and your ally are fighting near each other, and you hit your ally, you interrupt their attack, and they'll interrupt yours. So you don't want to be next to your ally spamming your attacks, just like you don't want to be next to an enemy and doing it. It takes off stamina, and a lot of times you don't do very good. In terms of not doing very good, you usually die. And then for taking certain areas, for being the defenders and attackers, there's little visual things that go on just to make the world really lively, which I like. I don't think I show off the middle section too well, so I come here, try to capture this, and revive my ally, and then I get, oh okay, I forgot about that. I also get renown for basically doing stuff that helps the team is what you get renown for. The one thing I'm really bad about in this game is actually using my renown to actually kill guys. So for my ability to kill guys. So I think this is about it. You can see kind of the cluster of guys in the middle. This is an awkward thing. We were both on the ladders, and then I just ran into I just ran into the meat grinder here. Did I survive that? I did, actually. I got 2 kills. I thought basically that my ally had this, healed my guy up. So now, as you just saw, she got orange. So that's what's called revenge. You get it for, it's that little meter at the bottom left, where it's kind of like the fist all clenched. Basically, you get that from defending attacks. And once that gets up, you get what's called revenge, and it basically makes you stronger. If anybody's about to attack you but hasn't hit you, it parries them, knocks them down. And that's really how this game goes, until someone gets to 1,000 points. It shouldn't be too much long, and one of us will. And then that's the creep wave as you can see in the left hand side. And then basically what happens is your team starts breaking. If you don't capture another point, or if all the guys on your team die, you lose the match, and then another little cutscene plays after that. But I think that's about all you need to see about the game. You also might have noticed, that right now, when I've hit L, the left control, I've gone into kind of a stance mode. That's a defensive stance. And now, I got killed, but if you pause it, you'll see that I can kind of go up, down, left, and right, and that determines the direction of my attacks and how if I'm left, if I have my attack coming from the left and the enemy has it from the left as well, if you time it right, you can actually parry the enemy's attack. Another thing is if mine is from the left and his is from the right, but I chose a fast attack and he chose a slow attack, mine will actually hit first. With shield enemies and allies and characters, the other direction, so if I'm right, my shield will be on the left, so if I choose right, he chose left, there's a chance of my shield actually blocking the attack as well. Let's see. Oh, no. Yep, so now you see it comes up with basically stand a fight, and then if we don't basically get another point, then, or if we all die, the game ends. So you might be asking, what happens when both teams get to 1,000 points? Basically, it goes to sudden death. First team to get eliminated loses. Now, while that's happening, even though it shows my guy dead, I can actually go over there and revive him, and I'll take him, and I'll bring him back. You can still revive, but after a certain time period, you can't. So they're permanently dead, and then you either got to try to capture another point or try to win the match. Okay, guys, I really think that's about it. I don't think this match goes much longer. Basically, match is about 15 minutes. There is a little cutscene that I'll jump to so you can see at the end, but the next time after that you'll see is me just doing my pros and cons of this, and then I'll close out the video and we'll go from there. Okay, so now for the pros and cons. We'll start off with the pros. So first off, one of the big pros for me is how just in-depth the comment is. If the guy's doing a heavy attack, you can do a heavy attack from a different direction and stop him. You can parry him if you do it from the same direction. If you do a fast attack from the same direction, you can stop him. Even the fact that if you're too close and spamming buttons next to your allies, or they're doing it to you, you can stop each other. So I really love that. I love the different races and classes. The only thing caveat for me is I can see, since there's a solo thing on lock, that you can master them very quickly and get bored of them. So I hope they just keep adding more races and classes as the game goes along. And then just finally, I think it's a really interesting idea. Obviously, Knights vs. Vikings, not so much. They existed at the same time in the same place, so, excuse me. So that's not too interesting. But adding the samurai in, and I've seen some trailers for the story, so I think the story is going to be interesting. I'll have to, the campaign may even hide in all over that. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And now for the cons. The first one being, it's a Ubisoft game. And for those who may not know what I mean by that, basically Ubisoft is known, because they've done it a lot, of having glitchy, buggy games on launch with day one DLC, day one patches, and bad performing games. So I'm hoping this game isn't going to be like this. This was a beta, and there was problems, but I was able to run it even with my new computer on medium, so I'm hoping that they continue this trend and they actually optimize it more so I can get a better settings with it. But for now it's okay. I'm just hoping it's not going to go down here, but once again, it's Ubisoft. Second, the controls. While I do like the in-depth combat, there's no way to change the key bindings. One of the key bindings is a left control stick, and to some, right now I'm going to say is I am actually going to try a controller with this once I get one, once it comes out. The reason being because that left control who maps a button to the left control? That's almost as bad as Warframe, which maps to do a slide is Shift, W, and V. You try to do those keys. They're ridiculous, but I digress. So I'll see how it is. I'll see if the buttons are any better on that. And I know I just blew a bunch of people's heads off by saying I'm going to use a controller on a PC. I know, I'm a Luddite. It's filthy PC. Not filthy PC, filthy console peasant. But anyways, that's the second one. And then the final one is, apparently there is going to be a single player campaign, but it's going to be multiplayer only. So what I mean by that is, you actually have to be hooked up to the internet to play a campaign that is a single player campaign, because For Honor is a multiplayer only game, if that makes any sense, because it's online always. So I don't know why they decided to do that. They did. I think it's a stupid decision. I hope they change it in the future. We'll see. But that's it for the cons, guys. And as always, my name has been Shadow Templar 591, and have a great day.